If you've been up with the news recently, you'll know that the Chicago Teachers Union has been up to some especially questionable things right at the beginning of the new year. Particularly this headline from Fox News I found that said, Chicago Teachers Union promotes Venezuela regime change protests organized by socialist groups. And then the subheadline says, Chicago Teachers Union promoted rally organized by Answer Coalition and Party for Socialism and Liberation. Listen. It's not surprising at all that the CTU would outrightly support and instigate a socialist rally in response to the Venezuela situation and everything that's happened in that country. And we've been known already that CTU is full of radical socialists and communists who are so brainwashed to think that those things are somehow offering a better way of life. We already know that. But what's most bizarre about the situation is this. We know that Nicolas Maduro was/is a bona fide dictator in Venezuela, right? We know this. That's an undisputable fact. We know this through looking at the history of Venezuela and how Maduro has used socialism to confirm and maintain his reign in the country. None of that is what's up for debate. It's also very clear and not up for debate, the response from Venezuelans across the internet that they are thrilled that Maduro is being held responsible for his crimes, and they are very excited about the fact that socialism as a way of life is finally being challenged. But CTU, which is a collection of educators and teachers who we would hope know better and who also claim to care for our nation, have decided that that undisputable history is incorrect enough for them to protest in favor of Maduro. The same people who were chanting "No Kings" 6 months ago are now demanding that a dictator be released and that socialism be protected in a country that desperately wants to eradicate it. This is outright proof that one of the most influential unions in the country is not concerned with the needs of their members or even the basics of world history and cause and effect in world history, but the fact that they will always choose the radical, illogical, controversial stance because it will gain them more points in this political social justice race that they're so dead set on running. It actually makes me sick. Not even to mention how unbelievably ironic it is that CTU would attack Donald Trump for acting as a king in their No Kings protests, and 6 months later defend a real-life dictator who we know used his military to attack and maim his own citizens. Like, how is this real life? There are a lot of questions that CTU needs to answer about their very clear moral depravity. And when we look back at their history, the entire union's history, it becomes clear that though this is shocking, it's not necessarily surprising. I recently discovered Illinois Policy's film called Local 1, The Rise of America's Most Powerful Teachers Union. It's a full-length film. I'll link it in the YouTube description. I highly recommend if you want to learn more about CTU or if you've seen their clips that we posted on our social media, look more into it. It's a great film because it is a deep dive into the union's history, their origins, and their present-day power structure that allows them to be a unbridled vessel of hatred and extremism that they are now today. Like I said, we posted a few clips from this film on our social media because people need to be clear-eyed about the real danger of unions like CTU that are allowed political power, endless amounts of money, and uninhibited cultural influence the way CTU has today. Because we know it's not going to stop with supporting a socialist criminal dictator. It didn't stop when they were laundering many millions of dollars and committing financial audit fraud, basically. And it also didn't even stop when they hosted a communist convention that allowed pro-terrorism activists to speak to their teachers. That's right. Back in November, I found an organization called the Navi K-12 Extremism Tracker, who posted a headline that read, Chicago Teachers Union hosts communist convention featuring pro-Hamas activists. I regret to inform you that this is 100% real. Back in November of 2025, CTU hosted something called the National Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression. Give me a break. And at that convention, they allowed guests to speak who, quote, denied Israel's right to exist, who, quote, praised Hamas and armed resistance, and who blamed and demonized the United States' role in such affairs. They are so dead set on making the United States seem like the epicenter of all evil. And this article, if you choose to read it, I'll link it again in the YouTube description, is very long and honestly quite upsetting to read. It minces no words. It is full of the most hateful, anti-Semitic, mind-numbing, brainwashing propaganda you could imagine. It has pictures and screenshots and videos that the investigative team found when they looked into the story. It minces no words. It tells you what happened and it shows you a video or a picture of somebody saying the things that the article is reporting on with all of the CTU and everything convention branding behind them. It is ridiculous. All of which paints a very overwhelming, clear picture that the CTU, the Chicago Teachers Union, is part of the regime that's rising in America that calls for a radical, non-metaphorical agenda to rise and take power by any means necessary from, in their eyes, the evil, Zionist, fascist United States. It is simply despicable. And it's being funded by your tax dollars. It's being taught to our teachers who will then teach it to our children. No longer do we exist in a culture where these social justice ideas are passing fads that can enter and exit culture without hurting anyone, but that these ideas are not only capable of killing a man in cold blood, but of attacking and destroying an entire way of life. Thanks for watching the new Frontline podcast. Hit that subscribe or follow button to stay up to date on every episode we post, and drop a comment down below. Do you agree, or is there something we missed?